Hey there, Mike Dunn with Gaming Trend, and we've got our first episode of Tabletop Throwdown on our spiffy new digs at Gaming Trend Tabletop, our new tabletop-centric YouTube channel. Joining us on this very special episode is Mr. Travis Reynolds. Travis, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners out there?
So I was born in 1970 in Huntington, West Virginia. That may be a little too far. So I am old. That makes me, am I the oldest one on here?
Maybe. Mark is.
No. Yeah, no.
It's got to be
1968.
Oh, it's close. It's close.
Close.
So, gosh, I've been playing games since, the late 70s, early 80s. Back in the 90s, we were going to Origins, and then in the early 2000s, we sort of wanted to be more involved with stuff at Origins, me and some friends. So we joined a program Origins had, or Gamma had, called the Gamma Cohort Program, where if you were a group that wanted to teach games, they would add you to a fancy Yahoo group, along with publishers who were looking for clubs to teach games for them. And you could kind of find somebody that you paired up with and go to town. So through that, we were paired up with, I know Sean knows him, but we were paired up with Jim Dietz. How many of you guys know? So Jim used to own Jolly Roger Games, which is now owned by Upper Deck, right? And now Jim has the Dietz Foundation, where he cranks out a few games here and there.
Right.
Yep. So we did that for a while, and then we picked up Days of Wonder, I think, because we knew Mark from the Gathering of Friends, and they were looking for somebody because Days never really went to Origins, but they wanted a presence there. And then the low point was we started doing stuff for Eagle-Gryphon back in the day when Sean and Keith were there. At some point there, me and Sean and gosh, I can't remember the other guy's name. We all worked on the EGG Wingman program, which is defunct at this point.
Wow.
So then, let's see, then Keith went to Queen Games and he said, hey, can you demo for us? So there was a year or two there where we were demoing for 4 different companies, which was a lot. And then they started trickling off. Jim was kind of becoming less active, and EGG had the Wingman program, so they didn't need us. And Days of Wonder, right around that time, got acquired. So eventually we were just Queen Games. And then Keith left, and Queen didn't go to conventions for a year. And then after that, I started working for Queen and worked for Queen for about a little over a decade, I guess, right around a decade or a little more. And back in that, overlapping with that, I started a convention back in 2006. We've been running, this will be our 21st year. So just this January, I parted ways with Queen, very friendly. They're doing less in the U.S., which I'm sure Sean has talked about all the challenges of, of being a U.S. company, and imagine being a German company trying to be in the U.S. So they're doing less. We weren't going to Gen Con this year. We didn't go to PAX last year, and Origins was a question mark. They just didn't have as much of a need for me, and I had been offered a job at Eagle-Gryphon. I'm pretty good friends with Randall. So I put that off for a while, and then I accepted that, and now that's where I'm there, and I'm happy to be there.
That's crazy, man. And in general, that's a lot to unpack, but let's back the truck up to 2006 Charcon, 21 years old this summer. That's still strong, huh?
Yeah, Charcon, which is in Charleston, West Virginia. I lost the naming battle. I originally wanted to call it Hillbilly Con, but
I love it.
I got voted out. Maybe a good thing.
Yeah, I think that would have been awesome.
Yeah. I always liked, I don't know if you guys know Andy Hopp, but I always liked, Andy runs a convention in Cleveland called Con on the Cob. And I always thought that was a great con name. Yeah, and I wanted to come up with something. So anyway, we started Charcon in West Virginia with a goal of growing tabletop gaming in the state. West Virginia is pretty secluded, behind the times, gets things slower, adopts things slower. So we really wanted to try and inject some new games and some new bring some new blood into the hobby. And we've just been struggling uphill to try and make that happen for over 20 years.
And it's crazy. I know I've sent you some prize support at different companies I've worked at. You've sent me prize support to the Beacon show we ran in Denver. It's been awesome knowing like another con guy and another game convention guy. I mean, I was telling these guys before you hopped on, I said, one of the things, like a question that popped in my head to ask you was, like, I wonder how many times do you think we either worked together at a convention or exhibited, you know, in the same row or whatever over the last 20 years? If you were going to throw a guess.
Wow. I mean, multiple times a year, probably, right? I mean, for at least, probably 40 to 50, I would guess. A lot.
Well, you know what's crazy is I tell my wife this all the time. I'm like, you're one of my friends, Travis, who I probably see more times a year, but we have lived thousands of miles apart. But because I see you so frequently, it doesn't seem like you do. I'm like, oh, that's my buddy. Like, you know, because I run into you everywhere in the country. So
Right.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No,
sure.
and I'm so surprised I'm not going to Origins this year, but I know if I did go this year, it would be very strange not seeing you in that front corner. With Queen Games.
Strangely enough, I'm the guy that canceled the Queen Games booth. Coincidentally, I'm the one who signed up for the Eagle-Gryphon booth.
Gotcha.
So should you wander by there, you should not be surprised to see me.
What you won't see is the Mayfair booth right next to it, like it usually is, because they're not going. I am going, but I'm just going to play for fun. I'm not going for any work-related stuff, but I'm still going to stop by.
I'm not even sure who's in that space. Actually, I haven't seen the map for that hall. I saw a working map, but I'm not even sure who's there.
Yeah, it's probably play space, like blank.
I love sure that you somehow managed to retain your clutches on that space. You know, that is fantastic.
So when I first claimed that space, they asked me, they thought I was crazy to put an owl between my booth and my play space. And I thought it was great. And we really worked hard to build like a brand identity on that space. And the people that come there not only knew Queen, but they knew all my team, because it's always the same people from West Virginia and Kentucky that work for me. And I just felt like it was a good thing, because if Queen wasn't going to be there, we could still be able to give the same type of service to people, where we do a bunch of learn to play games and they can learn them from the same people that they're accustomed to. We're going to also do a slate of play to win games like we always did with Queen. So, I wish Queen the best. And if they were still here, I'd still happily be working for Queen. But hopefully this is the next best thing, that we can still hang out with a lot of the same people at Origins and show them some great games and have a good time.
Dude, you're going to crush it with that, because you're right. It's location and it's people. I mean, they walk by and they see a different logo or something and they might go, what? But they're still going to be intrigued. They're going to want to see what you're teaching, not what the brand you worked for was teaching, right? You and your crew are why people come to those things, right? I mean, it's like why this channel, like he's known for doing previews, and it's like awesome that he's over on this channel now. And you know what I mean? Because he still has a job to do, just because he's not at another place, It's I think it's cool.
Yep. I hope so.
Yeah, well,
meanwhile, I'm stuck at Gaming Trend. I co-own this thing, so I'm shackled to it. You're not going to see me anywhere else.
Well, we're all hired guns. So.
Mark, are you going to Origins?
No, well, there's a slight chance. I'm looking into it, but probably not. It just with the big upheaval of me moving channels and doing new things. That's what's in flux. So yeah.
Well, we won't have a booth at Gen Con, but Randall and I'll be there, so I have plenty of time to hang out and play games and have dinner and have drinks and see people and all that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, we will be at Gen Con. We're actually going to be filming some demos off-site at Gen Con, if that's something you guys might be interested in over at Eagle-Gryphon. But we've got some stuff that we're working on, and of course we're going to do our Best of Gen Con awards like we do every year. Travis, you were a winner of one of our awards last year, were you not?
That was the second time I'd won an award, actually.
Nice.
I personally won one, and Marrakesh won one. So.
That's right. Yeah, no, I remember giving Marrakesh one. Now that I think about it, I really loved Marrakesh. That was one of the probably my favorite Queen game. If I'm going to be
great.
honest,
I liked it a lot.
I think it's probably the best game that I was part of making while I was there, is at least from my perspective, because I like a heavier game. I still can't quite say it's my favorite Queen game. It's very close, but I think I have to say Show Manager is my favorite Queen game.
Really?
Love that game.
First game I ever played with Sean Brown too, coincidentally. Although it was Atlantic Star, I think, right?
Yeah, because we couldn't find the real one. I looked everywhere. I'm actually in the middle of moving my mom, and I found a bunch of my old boxes of games that I had put, and I was going through them, and I was really meticulous writing what was in them. And I found the box, and I wrote real big in red Sharpie, Show Manager, and I have it all highlighted. Open up the friggin' box, and it's not in there. I was so... It's like this game is cursed for me. I'm like, am I ever going to get to play Show Manager again?
You know, I don't know if he'll do it, but I really, really pushed Rajiv, and we had some conversations about doing the game again, because he's done it a few times, but I think he should do it again with a Bollywood theme. I mean, I think it's a great fit, and it matches well for Rajiv, so we'll see if he does. I think it's a great idea.
Man, I'll have to get in his ear about that, because that would be awesome, man. I mean, for me, it's probably like Alhambra and Kingdom Builder were always right up there for me. But
yeah, Alhambra's definitely good.
Show Manager is one of those games I would play 24/7. Like anytime it hits the table, if there was somebody looking for a seat, I'm in that thing.
I think it's so unique. I think it's just a good play, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that makes me wonder. I mean, you've probably played a ton of games with Sean, so I really want to know how many times you've crushed him.
It's probably easier to say how many times I didn't, I would think.
I mean, yeah, because that's single digits, right?
Who knows?
Nice.
I mean, I can say for sure that I had fun every time.
Okay. That's all that matters, truly.
Man, we've seen some cool games too. And the one thing I liked about Travis is, even though we worked at different companies, some people might say competing companies, there was always this great camaraderie, or times that we would see a game and go, man, this is really good, but we can't do it right now, or we got something conflicting. Travis was always the first guy I would send people over to, and vice versa. I mean, I've definitely signed games that have come directly from Travis. And it's just like, I don't know, there's just something cool about knowing that we all kind of look out for each other,
Yeah, I think I sent you the wrong Tim Phillips game, though. Dice Words is going crazy, right?
I know. What the hell, dude? I get Zothran Invasion. Sorry, Tim, but like we made up for it with Stacked, so all was forgiven. But damn, dude, he's
okay.
With Dice Words.
Now, gentlemen, we're going to need a little backstory on this.
Yeah, I think so.
So I have a day job. I've always had a day job the entire time here. Currently, I used to work at AT&T. I did that for 21 years, and now I work for the state of West Virginia. The guy that hired me at the state of West Virginia is a friend of mine, also a game designer. He didn't have any games published at the time, but he had this game. He had several games he was playing at work, and he had this game. I forget what he called it. Do you remember what he called it, Sean? Robot something or...
Oh, yeah, it was Robots versus Aliens.
Something, right? Yeah. And basically you're collecting parts and building a robot out of cards. You're building like the torso and the head and the arms and the legs. And then you were fighting other robots. And there was a good game there, but he enjoyed the fact that you could be playing for 2.5 or 3 hours, rolling dice and fighting each other. And the struggle was to make him realize nobody wants to play this game longer than 30 to 45 minutes, right? So, but it wasn't something we would do, so I sent it over to Sean, and he turned it into part of the Alien Uprising universe and did a game. But fast forward, and Tim Phillips, who is the game designer, he also, as Sean said, did Stacked. He has a game called Dice Words with Thames and Cosmos that's really popular. I think it's probably a little more mainstream popular. They've got it in Barnes and Noble, and basically you're rolling dice and forming words out of the dice. It's kind of boggle-ish with some twists and stuff.
Yeah, it's got this cool ice tray and then clear dice that have the consonants or the vowels or something.
Neat.
And you like roll them and like shake it so it looks like they're dice cubes. And then like during that round, everybody can use the A and the V or whatever in the ice cube tray. Plus
They leaned into the ice part of dice for the theme.
I like it.
Yeah, no, we demoed this at PAX Unplugged, I believe. I think we have some footage of it that's going to go up soon.
Yeah, they're on I think second or third print run, and of course that kind of game they're printing a lot. It seems like Tim told me that it was the first game fully developed by their U.S. branch, so they were really leaning into it. So congrats to Tim. I mean, good for him.
No, it's awesome, man, and I love that. He started out with something like Southern Invasion and, timing was wrong. It was just a little card game, but, we did a crowdfunding on it. He learned a lot. We had a lot of fun. And then, he unfortunately hits the pandemic. I mean, that's when we launched Stacked. So good 2020 project, and what I love about Tim is he just kept grinding. And then he's like third game's Dice Words and it's like explosion. So super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, Travis, I know I've seen you all these years at conventions like Origins and Gen Con and PAX Unplugged, and you're demoing games, you're talking about games, you're running your booth. But just now, you've been hinting at some other things that you've been doing, kind of behind the scenes. Tell us a little more about how you have. Like what kind of roles you've taken on in shepherding games to market in the various, like at Queen and now soon to be Eagle-Gryphon.
So it's still probably developing as far as what all I'm going to do at Eagle-Gryphon. My primary role there is media, so interacting with guys like you, and events, so planning events and stuff. So we're still kind of filling our way through that. I'll probably take on some more stuff as that kind of develops. At Queen, I sort of did a little bit of everything. I scouted games at conventions here in the U.S. If I found something I liked, I would take it and play it with my crew of people here. And if we liked it enough, we would send it off to Germany. All the development and rules testing and everything and rules writing gets done pretty much in Germany. So if it was a U.S. designer, I would work with them here before we sent it over, which we signed a number of games that way. And then from there, everything would happen over in Germany. And of course, Queen's flagship right now is the Stefan Feld City collection. So, I was blessed to work with him. He's obviously a brilliant designer, super nice guy. I don't know if you know, he's a high school principal for Effect. Basically, whatever the equivalent is. Yeah. Really nice dude, fun to hang out with, fun to sit and have a drink with, and really funny. I mean, nice guy. But, I love his games. So that was kind of a blessing to get to hang out with him and do that. And the guy that does all the development for Queen on those is a guy named Ulrich von Robert. Also a great guy. I know Sean knows him. He comes over to Gen Con when we had booths, and working with him was also great. He's pretty dedicated to making those games as good as they can be. And he's an interesting guy too. He's a colonel in the German military, but he helps develop those games for us. So, so I met a lot of cool people, and I did a lot of stuff like helping run Kickstarters and running pledge managers and running some social media stuff and helping a little bit with customer service. And I'm still getting people messaging me about customer service stuff just because they knew I was their go-to and they needed a thing, right? So
I hear that, brother.
Sean knows a little bit about that.
Sean, yeah.
Tomorrow will be 1 year since I resigned from Mayfair and retired from publishing. And yesterday I had spent about 3.5 hours doing customer service emails.
Yep. Since you retired.
Since I retired from publishing.
Rajiv, I know Sean knows Rajiv very well. Rajiv is like family to us. Like he treats my girls like they're his own. We've been over there a few times and stayed at their house. He's got a lovely house. If he ever called and needed something, I would help him with anything. I'm still helping him with a few things that I was kind of responsible for because I don't want to leave him hanging, but I wish them the best, so I'm sure I'll never completely be not part of Queen in some way, at least, here, right?
He's such a good dude. And for so many years, he's just always been good to you, me, everybody I know. And like you said, to your kids, which, dude, I've seen your kids grow up from kids to, didn't one of them just graduate?
Emma just graduated from college. Yeah, right.
Insane.
She was,
I mean, she couldn't even drive when she was on the demo team at
well,
first.
in fairness, she still can't drive, still doesn't have a license, but when she started, so she never actually had to teach games. She's been working in our booth since she was 14.
Right.
And when she started, I mean, here she is at like Gen Con, people coming up. She wouldn't even talk to people. They'd tell her what she wanted. She would ring it up. She would turn the tablet or whatever around so they could sign, and then they'd be gone. But now, I mean, we've really seen her blossom in working at conventions and kind of being forced to interact with people. And she's got friends in that she looks forward to seeing, people that have known her for years and years and years. And my favorite convention game is sort of waning now, but my favorite convention game would be to take my daughter around to my friends before they really knew her well, or people that I knew that hadn't met her, and ask them how old they thought she was.
No.
Because she just graduated from college, but I bet if I introduced her to you guys now, you'd think she was like 15. It's incredible. Yeah.
She just doesn't age. She's
Right.
had the same stature.
And she's
as
like,
forever.
she's 5 foot, which I'm not 5 foot, obviously.
I'm sure she hates that now, but she'll probably love it in a few years.
And when I first started doing that, she hated it, but after a while, she sort of like leaned into it, right? I mean,
Nice.
but yes, if she in 20 years, if she still hasn't aged, hey, that's great, right?
Right?
Absolutely. That's great
Yep.
genes, man.
Must get it
Well,
from her
Travis,
mom.
you will always be the king of Queen to me.
Well, there you go. me and Kevin James, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, like, how deeply have you been involved in actual game creation? Like, do you have any designs that you've floated around yourself?
I have one game I've worked on off and on for a long time. I've sat and talked about it with a couple of people. I don't know if Sean remembers, but I talked to him about it on the way from the airport in Buffalo to Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah. All right.
But I've never done anything more with it. I think it will be a good game. I've sort of reached a point where I know what needs to be done next, but I'm not sure I'm the right guy to do it because I can't motivate myself to do it. So I probably need to find a co-designer or just force myself to do the next step.
You're going to have to remind me the name of that one.
I don't even remember the name of it. It was a Western. I don't even know that I had a name. It was a Western themed game. So anyway.
Okay. You know what's crazy is like maybe a week ago, a friend of mine had invited me to his son's graduation, and it's this week, I think, actually. And he goes, hey, it's super cool. And he's excited. He's still a gamer. He goes, and I got my first playtest credits, and he got his first on this game I did back at Eagle, ironically, Attack Deluxe. And I was like, what? I barely remember this. And he's like, go look at the rules. He's like, and he sent me a picture of it. He was reading those to his son while his son was in the womb. He was like proofreading the rules, and he would have his head on his mom's belly, and he was just talking to her. And in an attack, you can move your subs this way. And he's so excited about the game. And he's like, you believe that guy's going to graduate from high school? And I'm like, no, I've been doing this way too long. If your kid you were reading rules books to in the womb is graduating, this is long. We're old.
I'm sure my first playtest credits were Eagle-Gryphon. I think my first non-playtest credits were also Eagle-Gryphon on Railways of the Western U.S., I think.
Yeah, you definitely helped me on that one. Holy smokes. Western U.S., too, of all of them. Rick Holzgraf, I think I did that one with. And man, we had a blast. He actually had this train game that had the cam system of the changing colors for the city. And I was like, oh my God, if we could use that in Age of Steam or Railways of the World or one of those, color cities, I'm like, game changer. And I told him I was working on West and I wanted to use his design. And we just took his cams and meshed it with my design. And we made that game and it was awesome.
Very nice. So I know my favorite Queen games over the last few years have been the heavier ones. And it sounds like you like the heavier games too, Travis. Is that part of why you went to Eagle-Gryphon on top of just knowing everybody there, just because you want to? I know Eagle-Gryphon. I almost called them Evil-Gryphon.
That would be my job.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant.
Mike's like, I'll edit that out.
Well, I'll tell you a funny reason why I brain farted to that here in a moment, but I don't want to like interrupt this thought too much. I know Eagle-Gryphon is very notable for very large, very heavy games. It's the home. It's the, I guess, the home of Vito Lacerda, and a lot of his catalog. Was that a big part of what attracted you to going over there? In addition to just like kind of knowing them and working with them all these years?
Well, so the number one reason I went is because Randall asked me to, and offer me the job and asked me to go. We're pretty good friends. And he comes on my annual cabin trip, which I've been doing for 26 years. I've invited my friend Sean, but he's never been.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
2027. Let's change that in 2027.
Yep. Okay. It's in November every year. So
okay. November 2027. I'm there.
He and his wife travel with us. We do couples trips with several different couples, and they travel with us and stuff. So he'd offer me a job, and I knew things at Queen were probably going to get to where they didn't need me, and it seemed like a good opportunity. Now, with that said, Vital's great. He's a funny dude if you've never met him. I mean, he's similarly great like Feld is, right? And I think that it's amazing for me to have been able to work with what I consider two of the top designers. I mean, there's a lot of great designers out there, but those two guys are right at the top of the list, right? So I love a lot of his games. I don't play as many heavy games as I used to, which leads me to really like the small box iterations of the Lacerda games like Bot Factory and House of Fado. House of Fado is fantastic if you haven't played it. And there's more of those coming, and I look forward to being part of that. So That's certainly appealing. I've always really loved railways. I like that. Age of Steam is a staple, an evergreen for Eagle, but for me, I like railways better. I always have. I like a lot of the games there. If some loser hadn't lost the rights to Brass, it would be even better. But
well, that's a story.
Yeah.
I bet.
We'll not tell that one. We can talk about that one over drinks at Gen Con.
Mark had said earlier, everything's Sean's fault. So,
yep. All right. So here's my little brain fart reason. My oldest son, his name is Griffin. So, and then his social media / his online handle and like gamer tag handle for years was Evil Dr. Phil. So, like, my brain just kind of smushed those two together in that moment, and it became Eagle-Gryphon.
You can say they used to be Eagle-Gryphon, but then Randall took over and Travis joined, and now they're Eagle-Gryphon. You can say it. It's okay.
I also have one more thing to admit to. I finally just played my first Lacerda about 2 weeks ago.
Which one?
It was it's the newest one.
Speakeasy?
Speakeasy.
Speakeasy's great.
I know. I really, really enjoyed it. And it's funny because I have backed multiple Kickstarters over the last few years. And I literally have a stack of very large boxes of Lacerda games that I have not yet played. I've got Lisboa. I've got Weather Machine. I've got Age of, is it Innovation?
Just Innovations, yeah.
Or Innovations, yeah. I do have I have the House of Fado and the robot one that I got with this last one. Haven't played them yet, but Bot Factory is Kanban simplified. I mean, they're still not light games, but they're sort of taking some mechanics from a bigger game and making it a lighter version of that game. House of Fado does the same for the Gallerist, which was an art gallery game. And then there was also Mercado de Lisboa, which is based on Lisboa, obviously. I think is K2 the only one? Is that the mountain climbing game that you guys did at Mayfair? Is that the only Lacerda game that's out there that's not?
But no, it's CO2.
Right.
CO2, that's right.
K2 was a good one, definitely. But the Lacerda one was CO2. Yeah. We, Michelle over at Jacques actually had gotten the rights back to that. And I was over at Essen, and I think it was my first year at Mayfair. And I saw him and I just was like, hey, how's it going? What's new with you? And he was all super bummed. He said, well, I don't think I'm going to get CO2 back in the US. Stronghold brought it back to me. And we just did a new revamp and all this cool stuff. And I was like, looking around like, hey, I'm working at a game company. We'd like to have that. And so that was pretty fun. That was a pretty
Nice.
cool moment to have.
So it's I think playing Speakeasy first is great because not always those big heavy Euros match well with theme. I think probably more often they don't. The theme just feels there, but I think with Speakeasy the theme is actually you feel it as you play the game, right? I mean, it's just the whole fighting the other gangsters and trying to get position and watching for the cops and making the booze and putting it in the trucks. I mean, it all seems to really work thematically very well.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it
looks amazing. So
right. Eagle always had bootleggers. I mean, that was a staple at Eagle for many years. I mean, that was one of the first games that won an award.
I always felt like Lisboa is just too pretty. You just got to hang it on the wall.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and see, that's the thing, right? Like that's why I went so hard on just go ahead and getting these games. Cause I knew of Lacerda's reputation and I knew I loved heavy games and it was just a matter of finding people to play them. But ultimately, oh my God, the Ian O'Toole artwork and design work on those games is just stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
He's come a long way.
Yeah.
Like his early stuff was really, really good when it came out, but compared to where he's at now, like it's like if you watch the evolution of what Ian O'Toole has done, like they knocked it out of the park over at Eagle-Gryphon with that dude, 100%.
Yeah, I think that the production quality too is really good, like with all the custom meeples and the screen printed meeples and like the little trucks and Speakeasy and all the buildings. I mean, everything, they do a great job. Randall has really done a lot with a lot of those games, and then the whole team there, they've done a really good job. The Great Library is coming along. That's the one that's been crowdfunded but isn't out yet. And then the next one's in the works too. It's called The Resort, and you'll be managing the resort, which I'm interested to see what he does with that thematically. I've played the Great Library, but I haven't played that one.
Nice. That'll be a fun batch of stuff for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't back that one because I have like 6 or 7 Lacerdas.
Yeah, you should try getting some of them. Try to get in some of the table.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm working on it.
You're lucky you back Speakeasy. We're going to Origins and we don't even have any. We've got a pre-order.
Wow.
We're waiting for another perm run.
That's crazy, man. That's how it goes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks great. I would love to play it.
I'll have to bring it up sometime.
Yeah. Well, I have other games that you would like to play.
I bet.
It sounds like you guys are due for a game day.
Yes, we are, actually.
Right? We actually are, definitely.
Indeed.
Well, awesome. So, gosh, trying to think. There was another event I think you told me about a few years back.
Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say Adam is probably my proudest thing that I sort of inspired in this industry. So a few years ago, Randall and I were talking on my cabin trip about the idea of hosting a retreat for content creators, right? And we started talking about it seriously. And that year at Gen Con, we kind of finalized some plans to do it, but we sort of thought, okay, the place we want to do it, which is at the Gamers Ranch in Missouri. If you've not been there, it's awesome. We felt like there's enough space and the cost was enough to where maybe we should bring on someone else. And we were lucky enough to ask Connor McGoey. I don't know if you know Connor at Inside Up Games. Asked him if they wanted to be involved, and it's been a great thing ever since. So basically, we get that place. We bring content creators out. All they have to do is get there. We pay for the place. We feed them like great meals. And all we want them to do is each day we throw out a selection of games. We ask them to play it, maybe consider making some content there. But really, we want them to have fun. We want to get to know them better. It's not about what happens that weekend. It's about knowing them and being able to network with them and introducing them to other people and having been part of creating that networking synergy. And it's been great. This will be our 5th year. We've had an awesome selection of people come over the first 4 years. I've met some people that I didn't know before. I've gotten to know some people that I did a lot better. You know, you hang out at a convention and you know somebody, but when you spend 4 or 5 days together in a house, you really
know somebody. No,
that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's been great. And we did this. We did the logo for Adam, which you might be able to find out there somewhere. We don't have a website for it. We don't have social media accounts for it or anything. We let the content creators put stuff out there and we share it if they do, but it's just sort of an inside networking thing. And we do get a lot of people ask us, hey, I saw so-and-so went, but so we had this logo we wanted to use, which is an atom, and the electrons in the atom are a camera and a microphone and a piece of paper, right? Which is kind of like content creators or, pushing along the game industry. So we knew we wanted to use that. And so then we had to think of a name for the event. And we thought, okay, well, let's call it Atom. And so then we had to figure out what Atom meant. And that was sort of a process. I'm not sure we did a great job, but it stands for Agora for Tabletop Opinionated Minds.
Nice.
And how many of you guys know what Agora means?
Isn't it a phobia?
No.
Agoraphobia is a phobia.
Yeah,
yes.
that's immediately what I thought.
But that'll tell you what it is if you know what agoraphobia is.
Right. I'm trying to remember what agoraphobia is.
It's the fear of spiders or some shit, isn't it?
No. Agora is Greek, I think, for a meeting place.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I think agoraphobia is like probably fear of
public speaking,
of being around other people.
Yeah, a central public gathering space in ancient Greek.
Right.
Cities.
And
I was shocked.
Agoraphobia is an anxiety disorder characterized by an intense fear of environments or situations where escape might be difficult or help unavailable.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing it isn't an escape room gathering.
There you go. That's right. There's actually a game, maybe a Splotter game called Agora. And I thought when we did this initially, I was like, all these geeks are going to know what Agora means. And it turns out that was not correct.
I was thinking in terms of the phobia.
Yep.
Somebody has suggested a better one since. I don't remember what it was, but it was way better, but it's too late now.
Yeah.
It's never too late, Travis. You can always rebrand,
but it's been great.
That sounds really fun. I'd love to be part of that.
Yeah, well, just to remind me, we're talking about our invite list for the year. So with Queen not being in the U.S., this year we added a rotational publisher. This year it was Fort Circle Games, which is Kevin is in charge of Fort Circle, and then Jason Matthews does a lot with that. I'm old friends with Jason, so they came this year.
Yeah,
it was great.
Jason's great.
I'm not sure who we're going to have this next year, but it'll be a rotating publisher for a while until we find somebody we're really comfortable with. But it's great. Yeah. Just if you guys are interested, just remind me and I don't make the decision myself, but we the 3 of us vote on it. And
yeah, cool.
I don't figure it'll be a problem.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. We'll definitely stay in touch. Man, what did Fort Circle bring? Did they have any copies of First Monday in October or Blackbeard with them?
Yes, but I think the Supreme Court game First Monday was a nice prototype. They also had a nice prototype of Shakespeare's folio, the Shakespeare's last folio.
He showed me that at Gamma Expo.
Yeah, and then they showed off Blackbeard.
Yeah, that's one I'd like to see.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Fort Circle and of Jason Matthews. Definitely, I'm actually eagerly looking forward to both of those games. I think I also backed Halls of Montezuma, which is finally going to be shipping soon.
Yeah, that's another one of theirs. They have a game from Jason that's seeing some revamps back and forth. It's a typical Matthews game, but it's about the trial of Aaron Burr.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I assume that's public knowledge. If not,
just kidding, Jason. He won't care. He's the most chillest guy on the planet.
Yeah, no, he won't care at all. He messaged me last week and he said, "Hey, would it be okay if I ran an oversized Twilight Struggle tournament at Charcon? I got this big magnetic board with magnetic pieces, and I've got this DEF-CON lamp." And I was like, "Of course."
That sounds amazing.
No, that sounds like a horrible idea. Why would you want to do that?
Right.
Nobody will want to play that.
Right. I've got a great Sean Brown, Travis, Jason Matthews story for you. It involves
Gotta hear that.
Yes,
Let's go.
bring it.
So I'm gonna say like 2017, 2018, Sean. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Right. So we had a meeting, and I had pitched a game concept to Sean or to Jason, and had him approach, I guess, Ananda about it, or probably Ananda. And the idea was to do sort of a 1960. Have you guys played 1960? Making of the President. I actually prefer that game over Twilight Struggle. Just a
Really?
personal preference. Yeah. But
Oh, yeah.
they're both very similar, right? So we basically pitched the idea that he could revamp that game and make it about the 2016 election, about Clinton and Trump, which
Right.
we thought was a great idea. And we talked about it for about an hour. And at the end of it, Jason basically said, I think this is a game. We should do this game. If we do it, we'll do it with you guys. But I don't feel like the whole story is done.
So well said.
And it turns out he was right.
Yeah. Yeah. Halfway through, it becomes a completely different game.
Right.
Expansions,
needed a
maybe
couple.
expansions.
You needed
Right.
another
Right.
decade. God.
It's
Wow,
the
yeah.
expansion that actually takes pieces away from your initial board.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
All
I
right.
thought
We don't need to go too far down that rabbit hole, but
Right.
But no, that sounds fascinating. And I'm actually planning on reaching out to Jason to come back onto the Tabletop Throwdown, hopefully sometime this summer if he can swing it.
Was he on
But-
the first season or something?
Yeah, he was on season 1. We had him and Talia on for first Monday in October.
I got you.
And then he also made an appearance in our little montage episode about the game times printed on the sides of the game boxes, which was really cool because Talia actually watched that episode and brought it up during the episode that she was on, and we had like a little mini kind of discussion about game time, session times. So.
And
And
it was
yes,
about
I will put those links in the description for sure.
Nice.
So was that discussion about how accurate those times are?
Yes, it was. I'll send you the link, Trav. It's a good one. It kind of, I get a bunch of like hot takes from everyone from like Jason to Ammon Anderson to Kevin Williamson, and then it kind of about a little over halfway through, it turns into this kind of roundtable discussion with the Worley brothers
I got you.
about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Jason will come on. He's a great dude. Also, been on one of my friends that's been on my cabin trip, unlike Sean Brown.
Unlike Sean Brown.
Well, Sean, here's your chance for some revenge.
Let me go ahead and go. Rob Rouse, Blue Peg, Pink Peg, been on my cabin trip. Jeremy Holmes, been on my
Wow, Sean.
Just keeps going.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let me look at the calendar, but maybe it's this November. Maybe November 26th, I'll fix that problem.
I don't know, man.
You
might be uninvited now.
What can I say, everybody? I'm a terrible friend. I don't show up to things. I'm not on time.
That's right. You don't answer your phone when called.
But you
don't have
are
voicemail.
You're retired now.
I'm a retired former publisher. I'm hustling now. I'm doing all kinds of fun stuff. But
all right,
cool.
Before Sean shrinks into his chair anymore.
Yeah.
So we are now at the halfway point of the podcast. I'm going to take a minute to give a shout out to our sponsor, Gooey Cube, who's Darken Haven, which is just kind of off camera here, is probably one of the biggest 5th edition D&D campaign settings that I think I've ever seen in my life. It's really cool. You should definitely check it out. And thanks to them for being our first sponsor on our new channel. And Sean, I believe you have control of this week's Throwdown challenge.
So I figured.
I immediately regret making fun of Sean.
See, the timing is so good, right? So about that cabin trip, mother effer. No, I was thinking about this and I was like, Travis will be on and we'll have Queen questions, we'll have Eagle questions, we'll have game questions. There's funny stories, people. But what would be something that I could hit Travis in probably wouldn't suspect or expect, and that most people probably wouldn't know. So, what I came up with, Travis, what do you believe are the 3 best University of Kentucky men's basketball players of all time?
That question doesn't even apply to my joke answer, which was Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, because I knew that as soon as you asked that question on the previous episode, that it was Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. I knew that immediately, and that was going to be my joke answer, and that doesn't even apply.
It doesn't even work now.
See, word gets it out. Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he played for Kentucky.
That's
He did.
right.
Expedition, he was really good.
Nice.
So Sean asked me this because I'm a huge Kentucky basketball fan. I don't know if do you guys know Richmond Bramblett? Richmond's sort of a content creator. They have a channel on Twitch where they play games online with people like Isaac and a number of other people. So Richmond, the first time he came to a convention, he signed up under the press badges that he could get, which was Kentucky Sports Radio, which is a big Kentucky basketball thing. And I used to go down and review the whole media guide and think, okay, who do I want to set meetings with? And I saw that one and I was like, huh. And at a meeting, and Richmond came, and we talked about nothing but Kentucky basketball for an hour. So anyway, I think you have to say Anthony Davis, right? One part of the last championship. He's been
Sean's like, I don't know. I just made up the question.
No, Anthony Davis is a good player. I watch the NBA and like, you schleps. You're playing games all the time.
Sure, Sean, sure.
So when you ask that, are you saying best player while they were at Kentucky or best player period? That's
your favorite 3 in the time you've watched Kentucky basketball.
Okay, that's good. Man, I love Mashburn. Mashburn was great back in the day.
Good, right? Maul Mashburn.
Yeah.
Woo.
And gosh, I think I'm going to have to say John Wall, because John Wall was a huge part of reviving Kentucky basketball after like a 10-year lapse. I mean, he came in and he did the whole John Wall thing, and he really electrified Kentucky basketball again. And he was a great point guard in the NBA too. But yeah, I'll have to go with that. That's very hard to do there. That's a good question.
Well, so then my next one is a way back. This one makes you think, what year did you give me the best advice you'd ever given me as a friend? You had told me when I moved to Kentucky to open the Eagle-Gryphon warehouse, you told me there's 2 things you need to know when you move to Kentucky. Do you remember what those were?
I'm going to guess it was Kentucky basketball and either bourbon or horses.
You're really close. He says to me, somebody offers you tickets to the Derby. You don't ask how much, you say when. And he goes, and if somebody offers you UK basketball tickets, you call me.
There you go. Yeah.
That's all you need to know to live in Kentucky. And I was like, great. So
yeah, he never did call me.
I never did because I never got freaking tickets.
Not yet.
Hey, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe in November I'll get some tickets,
Right.
and then I won't be able to go to a cabin convention because I'll be at a UK ticket.
Me either. I'll be at a game.
Right.
So just to give you an idea of how utterly lost I am in this particular conversation, when we discussed this challenge question, my response was, fair warning, I know more about feminine hygiene than I do sports. Which is to say not much at all. And yes, I mean all sports. And also, just as a side note, when Sean said UK college basketball fan, my first thought was, I didn't know that UK colleges, I didn't know colleges in the United Kingdom had basketball teams.
That's
right?
okay. I'm not that bad.
Yeah. That's fair.
Man.
Sports ball and board game is not a huge crossover, right?
It's not. No.
Oh my goodness. Well, fantastic. All right. So now we're in anything goes territory.
Freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle. So I guess what would you consider to be your most memorable convention experience, Travis? And I know you've gone to a ton of them. And this is probably going to be a hard question.
Yeah, that's tough.
Putting you on the spot.
I mean, from a pure gamer perspective, I've been to Essen twice, so it's got to be Essen, I think. I mean, the first time I went, it was great. Second time was great. And, you pair that up with some travel. But I think it has to be Essen. That's a kind of a mecca for board gamers, and it's a thing you have to do. So I'd say that's it.
What about first game? So my first game in the 70s that I bought with my own money, Awful Green Things from Outer Space. So
Nice.
I always ask, what is your most memorable first game that you acquired?
Man, I played a lot of Dark Tower back in the 80s. Had a copy of Dark
Yeah.
Tower.
Same.
Yeah, that's such a good one.
I think maybe before I had.
Oh, yeah. Did you?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Was that the one where you pushed the metal figures
Yes.
down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And it has a little red balls that you put onto it.
Yeah. I
Yep.
just saw a copy of that in a board game shop, like in the window, like a vintage thing. And it was super overpriced, but it had been in the window so long, it's sun damaged. So it's like almost completely white. And I'm like, what a bummer. Because
What
I
a
was like,
bummer. Yeah.
I want that thing, but
Yeah. I
don't know.
remember the
Just
thing I
buy it and
remember
say it's
most
a
about-
collector's edition.
Yeah. I wanted Dark Tower really bad, but I got that game instead. So I was disappointed.
The D&D game.
Yeah, you know what? You know what I may have played more of than either of those was a game called The Generals. Did any of you ever play The
think I-
Generals?
Not familiar.
The Generals was like Stratego,
Okay.
only it was electronic straight from the get go. So they did electronic Stratego later, but the Generals had like a chessboard, and it was electronic straight up from the get go. Played a lot of that. A lot of Payday and Life, and all the games.
All that stuff.
Yeah, when I started graduating over to like Avalon Hill stuff, man, the one I played the most probably was Kingmaker, which is unfortunate because the game is so broken that it became a term in board gaming, right? But it was always a fun ride, right?
Right?
And then
I was watching a clip with Grant Lyon, and he started doing little shorts from his board game comedy tour, and he was talking about terms that he would have never learned if he wasn't a gamer, and he was like, orthogonal, what the fuck?
What does that? Yeah.
And I was like, so I think it's right up there in that term, right? You got to play Kingmaker and understand where the verbiage Kingmaker came from. Like,
yeah. I'll tell you a great Grant story in a minute.
he's awesome.
So, and then later, I played a lot of D&D too, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of D&D. And
I had the
Top
red box
Secret.
even. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I had all that stuff. In the probably early 90s, I started playing a game called Empires in Arms with some friends, which is probably still, given the right circumstances, probably my favorite game. It's just you need so much time to play, and I had that when I was younger, right? We could get together every night and play with the same 7 dudes, and
Yeah.
I've sort of got this pipe dream that includes Luke Warren. I know Sean knows Luke Warren. I don't know if any of you guys do. Luke used to work at North Star. He sort of like does contract localization stuff now. Jason Matthews, and then a couple other friends of getting 7 dudes together to rent a cabin for a Wednesday to Sunday and do nothing but play Empires in Arms. It's a recreation of the Napoleonic Wars, either the Revolution or the actual Grand, and then you bid on your country beforehand, and you show up, and if you're Turkey, you're wearing a fez, and if you're dressing and you're bringing snacks and liquor and booze that match your country, and just be a great weekend. But yeah,
That'd be fun.
yeah.
We played an epic game of Junta like that in the mid 90s. And that Junta is like one of those games, the terribly old, long, boring games, but because you have those con memories, and I'll never forget the guy shows up, and his wife had sewed like a little thing you could throw over that looked like the shoulder pads of El Presidente, and he brought sunglasses for the Minister of Security, and he had all the hats for all the generals, and they were perfect. They looked exactly like him.
That's
And
awesome.
everybody role played their role. So every time the guy got his money, it's been a lean year. We got no money for the
Nice.
Navy.
I love
It was
that.
awesome, man. So nobody wanted to throw a coup because we all wanted to stay in character. We didn't want to actually fight the fight on the board.
Yeah.
So
So
Nice.
if any of you are anxious to spend a weekend playing Napoleonic warfare and diplomacy, just let me know.
sign me up.
Man, so yeah, diplomacy is probably that's probably the game that finally like got me to turn my back on Monopoly and Risk and all of the stuff that I was exposed to, that everybody's exposed to at that age.
Do you still
It
play?
was-
Would you still play a game?
I played a couple of years ago, and I'm always down to play diplomacy. Always, basically, before I encountered diplomacy, Risk was as close to a favorite board game as I got, but I absolutely hated it because it was not a good era for my dice rolling capabilities. and the dice rolling in Risk is just absolutely brutal. So when I discovered diplomacy, and I was like, wait, it's basically like Risk, but no dice, and you get to stab each other in the back. I am in. I am so here for this.
I almost choked a buddy out over a game of diplomacy. I'm not sure I've played it since.
Wow.
We had a buddy that called it Friendship Destroyer.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
it was
Yep.
accurate.
It is rough.
Super accurate.
Right.
For me, it was Axis and Allies. That was the game that broke
Gosh,
me of all the other ones.
Yeah,
Played a
and
lot of
Shogun.
that. Yeah.
We played so
yeah.
much of all the Game Master series. I mean, and then Catan. Honestly, it was like once I was so knee deep into all the Game Master games and all the Axis and Allies games, and then I got that first German, the Cosmos version of Catan, where we had to translate it. And I mean, my mind was exploded. That was the coolest moment in modern board games for me.
Wow.
For sure. We played Catan, my German translated version of Catan, every weekend for a year straight.
Wow.
We just did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's terrible to say, but I was never impressed with Catan. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Well,
But
for me, it was
but
all the parts. It was the traders. It was like playing advanced Civ in an hour. It was like having diplomacy. It was like having all those things in a 1 hour.
Sure.
Probably enough.
But I will say when they did Star Trek Catan, I was all about that.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, like all of them, the Game of Thrones one was fantastic. Like any of their fandom ones are good, but like I just remember being ahead of that curve. Like I got Seafarers a year before they came to the States. I got Stott and Ritter, which was Knights and Cities, I guess. The rocket ship one, Starfarin,
right?
Catan,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Starfarers of Catan. I've sold that twice.
Catan came out in what I affectionately call the dark years for me. When
Playing Magic, you were playing Magic, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't playing anything. That's why I called them the dark years.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was basically transitioning from my partying years in my 20s to I just got married and had a kid, and I'm trying to build a career in my 30s. So there's this like huge swath, and I actually joined Gaming Trend over 20 years ago because I wanted to game, but I didn't have a board gaming group, so I turned to video games. I know it's horrible, right?
Hey, I have no problem with video games. I mean,
Yep. I'm all about video games too.
I love video games, but it's funny because I hardly ever play video games now, and if I go a week without playing a board game, like I feel it, right? Like it's ugly. I
might even play Arc Raiders after I get off this.
Nice. Well, my son brought his my old OG Xbox that I gave him years ago, and he modded it, and he's put a bunch of stuff on it. So I think I'll probably end up playing some stuff on there in a bit. But yeah, I totally missed Catan, and when I finally tried to play it years later, I had already played other games that had kind of leapfrogged.
Yeah. It wasn't as revolutionary for you as it was for sure.
No. And I recognize its place in history, but I bounced off it really hard. I was like, ooh.
It was never big for me either. I mean, I played it some. It was fine, but I was playing other stuff, and I was still kind of in that party mode too. I probably was playing more RPGs then, Your guest the last episode, he was intriguing to me because my favorite RPG ever is Deadlands, the old original orange box Deadlands,
Yes.
and I guess he did a bunch of stuff with Pinnacle, right? So
Yeah.
Dustin Hatchett, man, what a cool dude, local Denver guy. Yeah, like I don't I think you watched it, Travis, but like I think I met Dustin in like 94, 95 at a local game convention, and he's just been one of those guys. He's always been around every time I'm somewhere at a show, and he's always doing something. And that's what I love about like a lot of these people is over the years, you find there's like 20 or 30 of us that are like cockroaches. We've just been hanging around, just pulling the bones, just like, hey, and then people are like, hey, I'm new to games. I've been in about 5 years. You remember this? Yeah. I remember that. How about this? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's cool.
I played a lot of RPGs for a while, played some minis for a while. Board gaming for me really came back when I met Ted Cheetum. And I know Sean knows Ted Cheetum, but
Ted's a man.
Yeah, he's designed 8 or 10 games, and he's the guy that got me invited to the gathering and stuff. He's the guy in Charleston that had a huge board gaming library with a bunch of old German editions of stuff that had been cut and paste, translated with stuff taped over the cards and stuff. So
nice.
That's when kind of board games really kicked off for me, the introduction to Euros.
He always had such cool stuff, and he was the first guy, like he got me to play Captain Sonar at like a con or something. And I was like, man, that was so much fun. Like those kind of big scaling con games. So he's always been an influence. Ted's an awesome guy.
Yeah. Like I should note also that Magic the Gathering came out during those dark years for me too.
Yeah. 93. Did you guys? I've never played a single hand of Magic. That's become like my badge of geek honor. And I'll tell people that, and they'll go, "I'll teach you."
Good. Like,
I'm good now.
Good. I think you might have missed the point, sir.
That's right.
25 years in, I'm good.
Yeah, I had so when my wife and I got engaged, her roommate played like extensively. I guess this was like 97. Basically, I saw Magic and I was just like, I don't have enough money to buy comic books and Magic cards, so I'm sticking with comic books.
I get that.
Yeah.
And
I had original Magic cards from the first get-go that my mom sold at a garage sale.
Yep. Was that like the box that looked like leather? I had one of those too. I bought it at a convention in Pittsburgh at a Marriott in 93. Me and a buddy bought it and said, "Oh, well, we'll play that." And we never played it. And I don't know what the hell happened to mine.
Wow. I imagine that's worth quite a bit of money these days.
Yeah, sure.
At one point I would buy and trade them or whatever, but I didn't get into playing it too much. It wasn't
just
my
never appealed to me. We played Hero Clicks. I mean, the collectibility of that. We'd buy cases of Hero Clicks and split them up and open them, and it was just so much. But I just never got Magic.
I did it with the Star Wars miniatures game, right? I bought every single version of the Star Wars minis. I have the AT-ATs. I had them all, right? Like I was the target audience for a collectible CCG battle mini. But I just, for whatever reason, I bought boxes of Jihad.
Really?
Eastern Empire, but never Magic. I mean, other than a couple here or there, I trade people at a show. And one thing I had gotten at a show not too long ago, I was going through some stuff and I showed it to somebody and they were like, you might want to get that framed and appraised. But it was a playmat I got like maybe early 2000, 2001. And there were a bunch of the Magic artists were at this show in, artist gallery. And I just went around and they were signing them. They were all signing their pieces and their cards that were on the playmat. And I don't know, there must have been like 40 artists that I had sign them.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
I don't know who any of them are because I'm not an art collector, but I know that those early Magic pieces are some pretty awesome artists.
You could probably trade that in for 6 booster packs.
I mean, by today's standards, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I never really I enjoyed the whole deck building. I mean, I've kind of turned on it a little bit. I remember when Dale was showing Castle Builder. You remember that? And then it became Game X, and then it became Dominion. I played that, and I said, people are going to love this game. It's brilliant. It scratches that itch that people like, and it's just not for me, but it's going to do well.
Yep. Game X, my gosh, that thing was played so much that year.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what was crazy? I remember playing, Eric Martin he was in love with that thing. And I played a couple of rounds with him and we were just playing some random buildings. And I played Dominion maybe 5 years later or something. And it was a group that was really into it. And Seaside had just come out maybe. And they went to play one of the buildings. And they were like, oh, we're going to mix this building in from this new set that came out. And somebody read it. And I'm like, that's not a new build. That's a good building. You play with that and this. And everybody's looking at me and they're like, how could you have played it with that and this? These sets aren't even out yet. And I'm like, oh yeah, but my bad. I probably hallucinated it.
He had 500 cards. I think there were 500 cards when he pitched it to them.
Yeah. And they put what, 20 in every expansion?
20 or 25, right? Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, at some point I probably played cards from the first 10 expansions that weekend. And it just, certain powers hit in your mind or whatever, but cool set for sure.
That game did okay. Game did all right.
Just a little, just kind of.
Dale has since moved, but he at his house before he moved, he had a hot tub he called the Dominion hot tub.
Yeah, I remember talking to him one time because they got to go to the TV ceremony when it won the Spiel des Jahres. And he was talking about it. He was like, it's got to be like top 2 or top 3, moments of my life. He's like, sorry, wife and birth of kids. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
May want to dial that one back a little bit.
Dominion's another one of those games where I missed it when it came out.
Dude.
I know, right? And like, you can't recreate that moment, right? You especially like there's so many games that have incorporated a lot of the mechanics and function the deck building functionality that I mean deck building games are one of my all-time favorites now.
Yeah.
But like I tried to play Dominion. I don't even remember if there were any expansions or anything. Someone had it at game day. And I remember thinking to myself, well, this is great, but I feel like there should be like more.
Yeah.
And it's only because I was used to playing other games that were like hybrid deck build with deck builders. And so, I feel like I missed a good window to enjoy that game. And it, I'm a little disappointed.
It definitely was when it hit was really awesome. But then so many other things have just, pulled me away from it for sure.
Not enough time, right? Too many games, not enough time.
I mean, now people have taken the deck builder concept and wrapped it into a bigger game to where it's part of
the thing,
game, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like it's like introducing an old movie or something to one of my kids, right? And like it's considered a classic, but so many other movies have taken what that movie did and like improved on it that they're just like, well, this isn't great. Like I like this one better. And I'm like, well, I get what you're saying, but that movie couldn't have been made without this one.
Right? Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I had a great. I used to go on the Alaboom every now and then. Have any of you guys ever been on the Alaboom?
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm on there one time, and Scott's on there, and I forget who else, but Scott and Jeremy Howard was on there. And Jeremy starts talking about this content idea that he had, where he wants to play a lot of the games that originated things that are happening now, like mechanics where they first came from and stuff. And Scott says, hey, I got this list that's the top 100 games you have to play so you can experience those things. And we start talking about it, and Scott's like, why don't we just go over the list? So he starts going over the list. And long story short, in the 100, there were probably 15 to 18 Queen games. And I'm like, Scott, what the hell do I need to do to get you to publish this list on Board Game Geek or something, right? I mean, put it out there. It's like, Alhambra and Metro and Wallenstein and just on and on and on and on. Yeah.
You're like, hey, can we get a little love on this?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh, man. It's funny how that works sometimes, man. when you have one of those moments, right, where something shows up like that. And
yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So you mentioned Grant earlier. I told you I'd tell you a story.
Yeah.
So last year, our 20th anniversary last year, we wanted to bring some special guests in. So I brought Grant in. Great convention guest. If you ever get the chance, he's awesome. And I brought in Tim Riel. Do you guys know Tim?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Tim, also
I was
great
on
guy.
Codenames Live last night. So
Oh, okay, great. Tim, awesome dude. Both very funny, both fun to be around and stuff. So we brought him in. Tim did Codenames Live, which I think was the first time he'd done it. He did it on the stage at Charcon. We have it at the Clay Center, which is like a science and art museum on one side, but the other side is a performance hall where they have like 1,800 seats, and they have these big shows like Weird Al's played there and just all kinds of people. So we close the curtain on the stage, and we do RPGs on the back of the stage, and then we do other stuff on the front of the stage. So Tim did Codenames Live on the front of the stage, for example, and had different guests or whatever. But Grant did the comedy show that he does, that he's getting ready to go on tour. And if you don't follow Grant, go follow him and catch his comedy show wherever he goes. I get paid off of people that do that, so I thought I'd.
Totally. Well, we're hoping to get him out here for Denver.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
coming to Colorado. So
He
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Gotta
Gaming Trend's actually going to try to sponsor his show here in the Springs.
That's awesome. It's fun. It's great to have him around. I think he's staying West Coast this year and maybe going along the southern. It told me the southern part of the U.S., but he plans to go to the whole U.S. on this tour. So I know it's going to be a multi-year thing. So
Yeah,
So anyway-
he's coming through Colorado, I think, in October.
October, I
Awesome.
think. Yeah, he's actually going to be in Fort Collins, where I'm at too, way north Colorado. So
awesome. Good. It's fun if you haven't seen it, and of course he's always great. So anyway, Grant does the comedy show, and he's on the stage. And remember, I said there's RPG guys in the back, and that curtain's closed, but there's like a break in it, right? And right in the middle of the show, some dude like sticks his head out from that curtain, and everybody in the audience like sees it. We all see it, and he makes the wise decision of, screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and walk out through here. So he walks out, and we're all like, Grant's going to light this guy up. Oh my gosh. The guy walks out on the stage, walks down the steps, heads up the aisle. Grant never even saw the guy. I was like so looking forward to
Man.
Grant just ripping him up, but
Oh, man, that's great.
No, and just to plug Grant a little bit more, he's got a new show where he has gathered comedian friends, and he's playing with them. And my wife and I have watched both episodes so far, and we absolutely love it.
yeah,
a
it's all
great
fun,
show.
all funny in games, right?
Yep. It's all funny in games.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you go to my Facebook and look back, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, I put up a post that featured all the pictures from Tim and Grant last year. There's a great picture there. Grant hosted. I do a what's the AEG game, the horse racing game? Is it
yeah,
Ready, set, bet.
ready, set,
Ready
bet.
Set Bet?
Yeah.
Right. I always wanted to say win, lose, draw, but it's
I
Ready
know.
Set Bet.
I get that. Yeah.
Right. So I asked Grant, he does a great job of hosting that live. I usually host it and use the tablet, right? And have a speaker and all that stuff. But he was coming and he said he'd host it. So I was like, okay, great. So of course I bought a jockey costume and made Grant wear it.
Yes, I saw
Grant,
pictures. I
Yeah.
saw pictures of him wearing it. Yeah,
Nice.
it was so
Those
good.
pictures are out there to be had. I didn't have to make them. I say that, but he readily wore it.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's actually lined up to be a guest on the Throwdown
here.
this summer as well. So
Awesome. He's a great
Yeah.
he's a great guest at anything. He's been at Adam a couple of times and just a great dude.
yeah, no, much love for Grant here. Much love for Grant.
Definitely. Yeah, we were at Origins, and my buddy Kevin Sussman from The Big Bang Theory was a guest there. And so I introduced Grant, and I don't think it clicked with him at first, but then he was like, oh, hey. So that was a fun, definitely behind the scenes moment for sure. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, this industry is full of really cool people. I mean,
Totally.
it just is, right? And anywhere you go on any given day, you can just run into some really spectacular people.
Yeah, for sure. Have you heard the story?
Go ahead.
Have you heard the story about how Deborah Ann Wool ended up on game night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
so
I've heard-
Nikki used to work for Queen, so I know Nikki fairly well, and so she told me the story of how that happened. But she was at Gen Con, and she's like, "Oh, Deborah's going to be here in a little bit." She brought her by, and hung out at the booth with my daughter and another girl who's a big cosplay fan. So that was cool. But she told me the story while she was there of how she ended up on the show. One of the guys that used to be on the show, or is still a guest on the show, does a lot of liaison stuff at media shows, right? Where you go to like a big convention and you're the person that escorts them around and shows them where to go and make sure they make all their appointments and stuff, right? So he was her liaison, and they're riding in the elevator coming down or whatever, and she's looking at him, and apparently she goes, "Are you on game night?" And then he was like,
Nice.
"Yeah." So the next thing you know, she becomes a cast member on game night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome.
Nikki's awesome. Link's great. They're all awesome.
Yeah, right.
All those people are so much fun.
Yeah.
I forget Nikki. She used to do some graphic work for me. I forgot she was at Queen for a long time too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Time flies. You just see everybody and then they're at different companies. And I'm like, wait, weren't you? But that's just the way it goes if you're a dinosaur like Travis. So.
That's right.
And for our viewers and listeners out there, just to I feel like I have to say this, right? It's easy to kind of get starstruck of your favorite board game people in the space when you go to a place like Gen Con or something. What I don't think a lot of people realize is that most of the people in this industry are super, super sweet and super nice, and don't really have a problem with you coming up and introducing yourself to them and you know and chatting for a bit if they have the time in that moment. But
you'll make their day more than they will make yours.
I have always been pleasantly surprised at just how friendly everybody in this space really is, and it's been a joy of mine to be a part of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
100%.
All right. Well, so I think we got one more question for Travis, don't you think, guys?
We have a weird question.
Not weird.
Has no bearing on this show.
Is this to take the clothes off part of the show?
Because now it's late night.
Right?
It's now late night.
This is Throwdown After Dark.
Yeah.
No, I'm not interested.
That'll be our Patreon only part of the show.
Right.
The viewership goes
boom.
So yeah, do you guys want to pop it?
Well, so last weekend was the opening of the first big Star Wars movie in 7 years, The Mandalorian and Grogu. So, of course, we were all excited to go see the movie. Don't know if you've seen it or not, but we like to take theatrical Star Wars movies and rank them in order by which we believe they are the best. Only the theatricals, no TV, no cartoons, just theatricals. For example, Travis, I usually come out with the proper order, which is 5, 4, 3. Right? As in episode 5, episode 4, episode 3, Rogue One, then, Solo, so on and so forth. So where are you going?
Give us your top 3.
Top 3 Star Wars movies.
I've never seen any of the Star Wars.
Wow.
And you haven't played Magic?
Right.
Dude,
wow, it's next level.
No, I saw you.
I
saw you ask this question on the previous episode and prepared that answer.
Nice.
Ooh, I like it.
I was a little disappointed that it is only movies, because I probably would have thrown in a couple of the shows, because I really enjoyed like Clone Wars and Bad Batch. I thought Bad Batch was great.
Yeah, 100%.
And of course Andor's good.
Well,
right? So
the Clone Wars movie that was in theaters is actually kind of related to the new movie, which I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I can see how that ties in. I mean, that family has connections to the Clone Wars, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, man, it's. I mean, I'm not sure. I probably Empire Strikes Back is the first one.
Accurate.
No arguments here.
I'm probably Rogue One. I liked Rogue One a lot.
So
we showed that one year on the IMAX at Charcon in the planetarium, and that was awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I think I have to say the original movie, right? Because that's what started it all. It's hard not to include the original movie.
Yeah. That's why the original is always number one for me, because all the other movies, you already know what lightsabers are. You already know. I mean, it's episode 4. There was nothing like it before. So it always stands out for me as number one. And I saw it in the theater only 138 times or something.
That's a lot. I did see it in the theater, but not 100 and some times.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, power converters be damned.
Yep.
Yep.
was pretty solid. Even if Tashi Station's really far away.
So
You know?
I would have a hard time including any of the new movies. The whole midichlorian thing is kind of silly.
Yeah, that was sad after the original explanation. I was kind of bummed about that, but
I will say this. I feel like time has been kinder to the prequels.
oh yeah. That was
They've aged
my big point I recently made on Facebook, is that all these people are slamming the new movie. And I'm like, so I did this experiment. What would it sound like if episode 4 hit the theaters today? And I generated a review that was 100% spot on to what you would hear from people today reviewing Star Wars. So it's, for me, what it boils down to is I fully believe people in general have forgotten how to have fun at the theater, and they're taking things way too serious, and they just can't see the wonder anymore. So
I think I'm not even sure all 3 of my kids have seen all the Star Wars movies. I just had trouble lighting the fire. Like my youngest daughter will watch the extended edition Lord of the Rings. She'll spend a whole day watching those, but I just had trouble lighting Star Wars.
yeah, I
Now,
had the same problem. My youngest is not a fan, but my oldest loves it. So
right now,
Yeah.
take Star Wars and put it in a Harry Potter setting, and they love that shit.
they love that stuff. Yep.
Indeed. I was slow to the Harry Potter party, but I came in late, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 movies in. And, those first 2 were so rough for me because they were so little kiddish. But by the third one, I was like, all right, maybe there's something here. And then, I really enjoyed them.
I remember distinctly taking the girls when they were little. And then by the third movie, I was like, really? The same villain again?
Yeah, right. Right. He was sticking around, wasn't he? I'll tell you, when my kids were young, we went to Florida. My oldest 2 have been to Disney, but we went to take my youngest to Disney. And every time we'd get down there and we'd say, all right, we're going to go. And she'd say, no, I want to go to Universal. So she's never been to Disney because she always wanted to go to Universal. Because
It's kind of better, except for the Star Wars area now. Universal.
I haven't been since they did that. So we are planning to go to that.
Yep.
But all the Harry Potter stuff is just so awesome.
Yeah.
So
have you been to the new Epic to see so in the new Epic universe, Universal, they have another Harry Potter implementation, and it's the Fantastic Beasts and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw images of it. Yep.
Yeah, very good. I'm sorry, Mark.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, no problem. So my when I got introduced to Harry Potter, 2 things. One, when I first kind of got introduced to the characters and the world and everything, my first thought was, wait, this kid looks exactly like a character in a Neil Gaiman comic I read like 10 years ago.
Totally. Yep.
And which was Timothy Hunter from the Books of Magic series.
Exactly. Yep.
So I was like, I don't know what that's about, but let's continue. And then I didn't care for the first 2 movies because mostly because the way everything was framed visually was like, let's everybody stop what we're doing and look at all of this magic around us. Right? And the third movie was the first one that treated magic like just this everyday thing that happened to be in the world. And as a result, like, I loved the third movie. And I also know the third movie was done by Alfonso Cuarón, who is one of my favorite directors as well. So
yeah, that's the thing. Prisoner of Azkaban is the only movie that I've enjoyed of those movies. So
it's definitely the best one.
Yeah, it's very good.
But yeah, you could tell the artistry is there. And he really, really did be like, no, they're not going to stop what they're doing and look around at the magic because they do this every day.
Every day. It's just normal.
This is like washing dishes for them, right? So yeah, that was a thing. I felt like the books handled it a little bit better, partially because
read the books.
I did read the books just because, like, anytime I got into anything that was a book series that had already been out, like, I tend to, like, just plow through the books until I catch up and then pass where the movies or the TV series went. Did that for Game of Thrones, which was quite a feat at the time too. Those were thick books.
Big books,
I remember reading all the books that had been published before the final episode of the season aired of that one. So
it's perspective too on all the movies in general.
Yeah.
Back to Star Wars, my oldest daughter, her Star Wars is episode 1 and 2 and 3, because that's what she grew up, seeing from being like in a theater, the big. So even though I really dislike Jar Jar, those movies are fond for her.
My son loves those movies. I took him to episode 1 when he was an infant, and my wife was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yes.
But I'm gonna close it with this. We actually just reminisced, because my son's in town. We just reminisced about the time we were in Tennessee. We went to go see a live band at the Ryman in Nashville. And while we were waiting in line, we started chatting with this guy, and he had all these Star Wars tattoos on him. And my son was like, "Oh man, your tattoos are sick. Like, let me, what do you got?" And so he starts showing us all his tattoos, and then he saved the best for last. He pulls up his shirt, and on his back is Jar Jar doing the Steve-O thumbs up that Steve-O from Jackass has on his back. But it's Jar Jar.
But it's Jar Jar.
It is. I was impressed. I was very impressed.
It's pretty good. Who was the band at the Ryman?
It was Ween. If you've heard of Ween, they're my favorite band. They're a bunch of weirdos.
I have. I just recently considered booking tickets to go see somebody at the Ryman, but I didn't. So.
Nice. Yeah. They. The reason why they're with the Ryman is because back in '96 they recorded a country album, and they hired a dozen Nashville session artists to do it, and then they liked it so much they toured with them that year. And
Nice.
They did 3 nights, I guess, in 2017 at the Ryman, and they reunited all of the living members of, I believe the backup band was called Billy Ogden and the Shit Creek Boys. So yeah, it was a fantastic show. Very, very old school. Highly recommend it. Anyway, we are out of time. Travis, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Definitely. Are you going to be at Gen Con this year? Am I going to see you this year? I would love to just shake your hand in person sometime.
I will be there with no obligations other than maybe some meetings. We don't have a booth, so I will be there.
Cool. Great.
Yep,
Well, let's definitely arrange a time to hang up. Yep.
Definitely.
Be good to see you again, bud.
Yep, sounds great.
So yeah, thanks again to Travis, and thanks to everybody who has watched or listened this far. We appreciate you, and we will be back in another 2 weeks with another episode of Tabletop Throwdown here on Gaming Trend Tabletop, the new YouTube channel for tabletop, all things tabletop at Gaming Trend. And we'll looking forward. We've got a lot of great guests lined up. We've been talking with Ammon Anderson. We've been talking with Grant Lyon. We've been talking with a bunch of people. So definitely keep your eyes peeled as we continue to kind of plumb the depths of the tabletop industry with me and Sean and Mark. And hit that like and subscribe. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening, Mom. Love you.
Like what you just watched? Not only can you find more great videos here on our YouTube channel, you should go check out GamingTrend.com, the longest running independent game and gaming culture site on the web. From the table to the screen and everything in between, at Gaming Trend we cover video games and tabletop games, tech and gear like 3D printers, and even film, television, and comic books.
You'll find the latest news, reviews, and previews alongside our in-depth editorials, weekly newsletters, and the latest season of our tabletop podcast, Tabletop Throwdown.
Also, importantly, Gaming Trend is by humans for humans. No AI is used to generate our content, and we try not to platform products that use what we consider to be exploitative technologies.
So yeah, definitely like and subscribe here, but also go check out GamingTrend.com. We do a lot more than just videos.